The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
Welcome back to State Champions Podcast, where we discuss people, politics, community, and culture. And what would our podcast be without us discussing sports? I promise you tonight, we're not going to really discuss sports.
Not a whole lot.
But I probably will be able to get some type of sports reference in to what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm your co-captain, Raphael Peterson. To my left and to your right is co-captain George C. Ward. And of course, we got a special guest in the building. He's really not a special guest.
I want to say.
None other than Daniel Ferguson, A.K. Lighton, a.k.a. Big D.
Lil Frank.
Man, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, brothers. I'm doing good.
Oh, man, think about this. We're going to discuss today the 2024 election, but the reaction show. This is what it's called.
The reaction show.
So make sure you tell a friend, call a friend. You can even call in tonight to share your personal feelings, if you have any. If the candidate that you pick won or lost, you can call us at 313-458-4445. What's that number, G, again?
It's 313-458-44, like Earl Stark, Kirk Kidd, Iceman, DC, 4445. 458-4445.
And make sure y'all definitely follow us on our socials, because we got to get our likes up, our YouTube followers, IG, TikTok. We on TikTok as well, so make sure y'all do that as well. But G, so I think what we probably should get right into my first question. And I think the first question, what do you think actually happened? Obviously, everybody knows Donald Trump won the election, and it was not even close. So what do you think happened? Why VP Harris lost the race? I'm gonna start with you, G.
I think the number one thing, and we talked about it a couple months ago, my main man Joe getting out the race too late. I think strategically, from a game plan perspective, the Democrats really failed their party, the powers that be. So him getting out late did not garner enough momentum and enough time, I think, for VP Harris to really run the type of campaign that she needed. Trump had a lot of momentum coming in. The Republicans had backed him for years. They knew this was going to happen. I just think that's the first thing. She didn't have enough time. Number two, some of those policies. I mean, just really, when you look at, the acronyms and all of that and her stance on transgender things, that really, because Black men are conservatives and a lot of people really don't look at it like that. So a lot of people were turned off with some of the things that she, kind of stood behind and some of the things that she really was emphatic about. I think that's one of the things that really hurt her.
Okay.
And then ultimately, too, she was probably punished for some of the things that happened during the time that she was the vice president.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of the things that went on with the border, again, a lot of things that went on, with the LGBTQ community, whatever. I think she was held accountable because Joe couldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, what people didn't realize is the fact that, she probably didn't have a whole heck of a lot of voice in some of those things, but she was held accountable for those, and the people spoke. And they were like, look, man, it kind of divided up a lot of people. But ultimately, I think those three things were at the forefront of her not really getting elected.
All right, D, I'm gonna slide it right to you. What you think was actually happened?
I think G hit it dead on. I mean, those things, and then I think she really made a bad choice in her VP pick. I think actually, I think the Dems made a couple of snafus or what have you, especially the fact that they didn't do the primary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think Gavin Newsom would have been a better candidate than
Okay.
her against Trump.
Okay.
Again, yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then maybe picked her as a VP, or if she picked Gavin Newsom as a VP instead of this Tim Walsh dude. You know, the stuff I hear from people that lived in Minnesota under him is he was a part of the tampons in the bathroom crew.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, so,
Yep.
And that don't have, you know, so yeah, I think they just dropped the ball completely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So I say this really from my standpoint, what really happened, and it's really more of an indictment on the whole entire Democratic Party because of their obviously their lack of creativity, in my opinion, that assumption to assume you're going to always get the black vote without doing much, or you don't have to do anything.
Yep.
Pandering to the people, the black folk, with rappers, entertainers, comics, and so on and so forth. So when you think about that, that's the problem I think that really happened, and the American people really saw through that. And as the parties started to keep going and everything was doing what it was doing, I just got to thinking, and I've been saying this now for 2 years, that
You did.
he was going to win in a landslide.
Yep.
And a lot of people were mad. I mean, they thought I was crazy, and I'm sure a lot of people mad today. But what I looked at was they were absolutely running the same playbook from 2015. If you go back and look at it, they were running the same playbook from 2015. And when you do those things, which is racism, fascist, his arrogance, his cockiness, all these things that they would come up with. But realistically speaking,
same thing they said 9 years ago.
Same exact thing, but they were not running on any policy. So when you do those things, the American public is very, very intelligent. And so they spoke up, they spoke out, they spoke loud and clear. And now I believe that the Democrats have absolutely put themselves in a pickle at this point.
Yep, they have. I think you mentioned it. You used the term creativity. I think, with all us being athletes, and then obviously we've been coaching, the lack of foresight. We go into the year, I'm already studying film already, and I already have an idea what things I want to tweak. And I'm looking at the party and I'm thinking, you're gonna have to do something a little different. And again, regardless of what somebody thinks about the Republican candidate, I want to hold ourselves accountable. I always say that. You got to hold yourself accountable. What have you done? And I think you said it, and D, you alluded to it. We were taken for granted. And I think the more rhetoric we hear, okay, yep, we hear that. Okay, he said this and he did that. All right, well, what's your stance on it, though? What's your stance on what's being talked about? Okay, so I get it. You said he sounds like a numbskull over here, and I ain't saying that he didn't. But what's your stance on it? What's your take? What are you going to do?
Win me with that.
You cannot win with that. And I just think right now we got a lot of sore faces. But I hope outside of that, about what occurred, I hope we come back and say, all right, look, we got to re-strategize. And when I say we, I am not talking about the Democratic Party.
So, and I want to add this, because one of the things that they continue to do, and this is really a strategy of Karl Marx, and what he said was absolutely accuse the people of what you're doing to cause confusion. And I definitely want to touch on this because, Big D, you just talked about this. They said Donald Trump was a threat to democracy. This is what they were saying, obviously, and they kept yelling at it, and that was their speech. That's fear-mongering. Well, to me, personally, there was no bigger threat to democracy, in my opinion, when they actually selected VP Harris without the primary and just cutting out the people of America. You cannot tell me, and the claim they would say, he's going to be a dictator when he gets in. Well, it sounds like you dictating stuff to me right now when you select a person, and they selected that person. I really wish I could queue up the actual I did a short back in February. No, it was probably back in March.
I was about to say, look,
Back in March. And everybody and a lot of people didn't do their homework on this. They never really wanted Kamala to be
Right.
no,
the candidate.
No.
Y'all know who they asked first? Michelle Obama.
Mhm.
They asked Michelle Obama. Then they went to our governor.
she
Whitman.
politely, but we'll see what happened after they asked.
And she basically said absolutely
Not
F no.
no dice.
And so they went to Whitner. Then they liked Granholm, but they
Right.
said because she was Canadian. And then Gavin Newsom, the
Right.
guy you talking about, he was the fourth choice. So she was the fifth string quarterback.
Really, and maybe not even that. She really won the job by default because she was
Joe.
there.
Yeah.
She was
No,
there.
that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
so, but the thing about it is what, when you look at it, you think it was some other people from the Democratic Party that wanted to be in that spot. That's why you have the primary. And
Right.
that's the
And
threat to
you see-
democracy.
right. And you see where you at. It's like, okay. Because I think Gavin Newsom would have came out the primary as the lead.
Okay.
I just think that because, for one, he's a white man,
Mhm.
and this is America.
Yep.
So that,
And he was more politically savvy anyway, having
Right,
more
having been
political
the governor,
experience
yeah.
after it's all said and done.
so I have another one. I want to keep going and
Yep.
just keep asking the different questions because
GP, what up, man?
I've been
Tone, you right. Bad PR.
oh yeah, Tone.
Tone Green said bad PR. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. And
Gentry Pitt said, hey, I guess women don't really support each other the way they say they do. You know what, GP? I don't know about. Well, I think our women, a ton of them, were behind.
For sure.
They were behind her
100%.
blindly. And again, it's not a fault or anything like that. I can appreciate loyalty. But I think oftentimes they didn't really understand why they were supporting her other than the fact that maybe they didn't like Trump. And again, I'm not saying I didn't vote for her, but I'm just saying oftentimes you got to understand the facts. And, you know, when you really, really look at it, what was she standing on? I think that hurt her.
Definitely.
so I'm gonna go to you, G. To you, Big D. What if it was one thing that you had to pick that absolutely derailed the campaign? One of the top things that derailed the campaign where it turned left really, really fast. What would you say?
The border issue.
You say the border issue?
I
Okay.
would say the border issue only because she ducked being the border czar after the president said she was, after it was announced that she was. You know, you can't, if something is going haywire and you was in charge of, like you said earlier, G, accountability.
Yeah.
All she had to do, or they could have just shut the border down. I mean, and here's another indictment on the media. The way they didn't report it like they would if it was Trump. If it was Trump border and somebody got killed, it takes me back to Willie Horton with Michael Dukakis when he lost because they furloughed Willie Horton and he killed somebody on a furlough. Now this is an American citizen. Now you got some foreigners coming in killing American citizens during an election, and the media didn't run it as such as they did when it was the black man inmate that killed somebody.
Oh yeah.
Doing a presidential
no question
election.
about it.
Mhm.
I'm old enough to remember that.
Okay.
No question about it.
G, to you, one thing.
He took mine, but I mean, again, the whole bathroom issue, the whole competitive situation with how a young person who was born a male could change himself, but yet compete as a lady. That, I think she lost a ton of people, and I don't care what she said after that.
She lost a lot of women on that.
She lost a lot of women off of that too, and a lot of people aren't talking about it.
So I'm gonna say this because obviously you mentioned that issue in terms of a lady becoming a man and vice versa. According to the pundits and the experts, they claim that doesn't weigh heavy. And a lot of the voters, man, they say it won't turn an election too far left or right. But I'm gonna say this. I think the number one thing that absolutely derailed their campaign is when Obama stepped out and yelled at the black men. Because if you look at the numbers, and of course today I was looking at so many different things, you know what I mean? And so when you look at here in Wayne County alone, he gained 3% of black male votes in Wayne County alone. Now you think about that. In Philadelphia, 3%. North Carolina, think about this. He went from 7% in 2020 to 21% of black male votes. And I thought about it, I said, listen, because
that's tough.
What happened, the bros decided, hold on, you not gonna tell me what to do, and you haven't done anything. You haven't done anything for us. Exactly. And so you telling me that I have to vote for her, and you didn't do anything for us. And I really believe that was a major blow, and it started to tilt everything, because now I think, matter of fact, I think Kwame said this. He mentioned this. Let me see if I can find this. He mentioned this.
That he ain't the black. He's not our black. He ain't our daddy.
Right.
Essentially, that's what he said.
He ain't even adopted uncle. He's like,
so yeah, I'm gonna cue this up. Check this.
Barack Obama is an icon for our community.
Absolutely.
He's he made the type of history that is so profound that he's immortal even in our community.
Come on.
But he's not everybody's daddy.
Come on, man.
He's not a father of the community.
Uh-oh.
And so when you come out and say stuff like that, the reason I like it is because it woke people up a little bit. That there are people who strategically moved him out there because they believe that you're going to listen to him and do what he say.
You done got
because
deep.
it was him.
You done got deep.
So, and he believed it too. That's why he did it. And now he's coming to Michigan and he's doing a rally for black people in Detroit because everybody's going to listen to Barack Obama about what they should do with their vote.
Wow. So now I thought he broke it down very, very, very well. And so what they did was woke up the sleeping giant.
That's exactly what happened.
They woke up the sleeping giant, G. And so obviously the black man was like, hold on, I'm not going for it. And to your point, some of the black men, because we are conservative, me and D was talking about this earlier, as we get older and you start to look at certain things, we are conservative by nature. And so then you have this issue with a guy who, when you was in the spot, you didn't support. You actually, I believe, in my opinion, you killed the actual VP's chances of winning the election. Go ahead, G, because I know you got some.
You know what, Ralph? I'm gonna say he tilted the scale a little bit. I just think ultimately, you said it. And I kind of knew it. I was hopeful because I kind of thought, okay, historically, and maybe but I didn't think she had a chance to begin with, really. And the more things began to come out, and the more we wanted to hear certain things, and I would leave thinking, I've yet to hear it. And again, I'm not suggesting that she didn't get my vote. It's not about that. What I'm saying is, looking at the American people, specifically people of color, I don't think she captivated them the way that people thought. And I think ultimately too, and nobody wants to talk about it, and it's something that we're going to talk about on the show at some point in a few coming weeks, is the great divide kind of hurt too. I
got a question, G.
Oh, I know you
just said something. You said that she didn't show anything in terms of what she was going to do. So why did you put in the vote for her?
Well, ultimately,
he didn't say he voted for her.
I left it unknown. Well, here's the thing about it. For me, he was a bona fide idiot, and I'm thinking, and more than that, though. More than that, he was very strategic. Even the racist piece, I don't think he is as racist as he tried to put out. He had to appease a certain group of people to make sure he gathered their votes. And so, okay, cool. So he appealed to a certain portion of the country. But in my mind, it was a lesser of two evils. And I had this discussion last night. And my son and I were talking, my daughter, I'm thinking, I don't know, man. It's the lesser of two evils because she did not. There was nothing I could say where it's like, okay, I'm totally confident that she's going to do it. I didn't feel that.
Okay, I got a question. So why do you say he's racist?
No,
It's
no.
just-
I'm saying what has been coming. Well, you can listen to him talk and see that he's trying to appeal to. He was appealing to a certain group of people. That whole "Make America Great Again," we can talk our hands off. The harsh reality of it is, and again, he had never worn that hat before prior to him getting into politics. So I get what he was trying to do, but I can tell you this: that was almost cold for some of America to be as racist and as overt as they wanted to be with their feelings about it. So that I think that was the biggest thing for me, and a lot of the people felt that way. But again, obviously everybody did.
You know,
Gee, I mean, real quick, D, keep your thoughts. Make sure y'all call in 313-458-4445. Tell a friend, tell a cousin, tell them get cut on the show.
Sulo, call in.
Sulo don't want to call in. He don't want to talk about this. I already know the problem because he already owe somebody a dinner down at D Prime. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you what it is. So D, go ahead. So before we do that, what we toasting to, y'all? We got to toast to something. Okay. I'm gonna figure it out. Let's say you get a
we
gonna toast to probably let's toast to America being unified and the success of Donald Trump, because regardless of what we want to say, we need him to be successful in this campaign, because right now everybody president. Is that what they would say?
So is this a hopeful toast? Are you saying like, all right, or are you toasting on something that has occurred?
No, it's just a toast to I'm saying that to unity and getting things back together. United. Oh yeah, for sure. All right. Well,
salute.
All right. Go ahead, G, because I know you had something.
I think the demographic of Trump age group, just him being, it's basically racist older white dudes.
And wrong answer. I got something for you today. They talked about the number of 18 to 29-year-olds that man got. Forget about it.
Yeah.
It was that group he kept that you're talking about.
Right.
But the 18 to 29
grew.
They said that grew exponentially. So
Hispanics too.
It's a number of things that people are not talking about. And go ahead, D, because I got a next question for y'all that's tying into what you just said, G.
So it's basically like most of the older white guys that we know are conservative, never really been around black kids unless they were in sports or some type of thing like that. So we judge them differently. Trump been a businessman. He's been around a ton of black people his whole life or whatever, but it still comes off as that age group as being that of the older races.
Yeah. I get it.
No question.
Yeah, for sure. So, question to both of you. Either one can jump in first or second, doesn't make me a difference. Do you think right now we are witnessing a realignment in the party, especially for the Republicans to become this multicultural party, and people are starting to slide away from the Democratic Party? Who want to take that first?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been saying the Democrats have dropped the ball. I mean, we all grew up staunch Democrats.
No
our
doubt.
Grandparents, our parents.
No doubt.
Since I've ever voted, I've never once considered voting Republican.
Never.
Until now.
Okay.
You know, and I didn't vote for Trump the first time. To be brutally honest, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, I didn't vote for Obama neither one of those times because I just felt like, because remember, having been formerly incarcerated, I didn't know who he was. I had wrote every congressional Black Caucus member, everybody that I knew that could help me get out. I had wrote them. I had even wrote my mother-in-law, you know, so I didn't know who he was.
Okay.
Wow. In 05, in October of 05, I did not know who Barack. I may have knew of who he was then, but by next year, I actually got a chance to sit 3 feet from him at the Congressional Black Caucus.
Okay.
Carolyn Cheeks-Kavachi was the head of it that year.
There we go.
And he was right there, you know, so it was just crazy, man. Just, you know, I made my decisions from a personal, hearing him say,
absolutely,
He had no aspirations to be the Democratic nominee for president. 8 months later, he had raised $1 billion, and he was that. What he said he had no aspirations to do. So for me, I had a different
view, different lens for sure, for sure. Go ahead, G, because I know you have something.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm hopeful, and that's the one thing you got to be. And I think my being hopeful. What up, Aaron Jackson? What up, Coach? My being hopeful is not in the hands of Donald J. Trump or the Republican or Democratic Party. My being hopeful is after all the smoke and all the dust, that now us as a people, we say, you know what, we got to do something. And doing something does not mean you don't have to do anything radical. You need to unify yourselves. We need to recognize we need to raise our children better, and we need to unify ourselves and say, let's come to the table and let's figure some things out. The former mayor said something that was just powerful down here. He said it. He said, we need to be at everybody's table so we can gather information.
Yeah, for sure.
And figure out what's going on for the best of our people. We can no longer be allowed to, we've allowed somebody to take us for granted forever.
Oh, for sure.
And so I think that's where us being disgruntled really, really, really says, hey, you know what? It's got to stop. I think this election more than any, some people have said, you know what? It's got to stop. Y'all done pimped us long enough. Look at that. What up, Stay? Chuck T, what up? So I'm hopeful that Black people come together after we've done arguing, and a lot of sisters cried this morning, last night, pissed at a lot of us and everything. And again, I voted with y'all. I just said it publicly, but I know a lot of y'all woke up mad. But now let's get to our rightful positions. I will say that. Let's get to our rightful positions, and let's get together and let's do what's best for our community.
I can tell you right now, that's not going to happen, because right now, our females believe that we let them down. Yeah. They really believe that. And so the great divide, what you said, and brother,
but they've always felt like we let them down.
Yeah, but so now you think you thought it was bad before. Wait till tomorrow, baby. It's going down. But so let me just add to this. So when we think about this realignment, but a lot of people probably don't really know the history about us being Republicans first.
I said it on the show.
Well, I'm not talking directly to you, G, but I know the Republicans, we were Republicans first.
What do you mean? No question.
Early 1850s.
Frederick Douglass was
a Republican.
Please, that whole group.
They were those guys. So a lot of younger people and some older people don't know about the Whig Party. They don't know about that, but then they got dismantled. Right. And I think it was, don't quote me, 1854, something to that effect. Right. That's when the Republican Party was born. The reason why we went to the Republican side, because the Republicans said, hey, we anti-slavery. That's how that happened. Yeah. And then for a long time, you had those Democrats that were Southern Democrats, and then you had Northern.
They were the Dixiecrats.
Exactly. And so all of these things were happening. So they called those Democrats that left the party, they called them disgruntled. And that's how the former Whig people and everybody came together, and they had the Republican Party was born.
Yep.
And then it changed in, I think, 1870, late 1870s, whatever it was. We ended up getting back on the bus with the Democrats because of the 15th Amendment, which allowed Black men to vote.
There you go.
So that's just a quick history lesson so people can get an understanding. So there's always been a shift. And the question is about this realignment. Is the shift going back? Because I watch so many young people, Hispanic, Latino brothers and sisters today, and they were like, they like what they're hearing. They also understand about people being deported. And they said, but for the ones that came in legally, they understand that the president has to do a job.
Yeah.
And so he's going to do what he has to do in terms of deportation. How many he will deport, I'm not sure, but it's no different from when Obama came in. People don't know this. Obama deported 2 million illegals when he got in office. That's a fact. Go look it up.
Yep.
But I just wanted to say that so we can understand where we're at in our society. And this could be that great shift and see what's going on. And it's all because the Democratic Party has taken us for granted and they just pander to us. And we come in when we get ready. We'll get with y'all every 4 years. And so we don't have to send y'all no money. We don't really have to do much. We'll come and appease y'all for a couple of days and say, hey, we got Sexy Red coming up. We got Megan Thee Stallion. So then y'all gonna fall in line.
That pissed me off.
That did not
too.
work. And so the American people spoke up, especially black men. And I think one of the brothers said it on here. He said that women don't support women like they say, because in the exit polls, this is some stuff that when you start to listen at this stuff, you had about 90%, I think it was, of about pro-choice. But all of those women did not vote according to their exit poll. Exactly. That's what Kamala was talking about, the silent voters. And they didn't appeal to that. When you think about it, my man, Donald J. Trump, basically swept the country. Swept the country.
So do you believe, Rap, this is more of the election? Was this more about the love affair for Donald Trump and faith in him? Or was it folks being disgruntled with the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden?
It's a combination of both. And I think that the first part, I think the love affair with Donald Trump, because they believe that certain things can happen with him. And they think that he can do certain things, and they love when he was in and so on and so forth. But they didn't like what the economy was the last 3.5 years. So it's a combination of both. So I can see how some people love him and some people are disgruntled with the Democratic Party. But I really think, for me personally, if I was leaning, it's more of an indictment on the Democratic Party.
Tracy made it. Tracy, you touched on something that a lot of people
see what she said.
We're not really willing to talk about.
Read that, G.
I'm gonna paraphrase it. It says, "Who in their right minds could reelect this idiot after dealing with COVID?" And so I think we want to use that as our topic for her and what she's talking about. The handling of COVID, some of the things that he said, his initial stance on it. A lot of time, and this wasn't even talked about. You know, initially he was like, "Oh man, it's good. It's gonna be all right." So Tracy is talking about, you know what, after the way he handled COVID or didn't handle it, so many people are suffering because they lost, their loved ones lost their lives. And the way he handled it or didn't really, really struck a nerve with a lot of people.
Oh, I'm sure. Do you got something to add to that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, the whole COVID thing in itself, people forget that it's been kind of not debunked, but it's like the stuff that they were saying, it was so chaotic.
DU must be in my head because
it was so chaotic.
So let's add this, and if I can cue it up, I'll find it in a second. So people have to realize he was getting his information from the scientist, Dr. Fauci. And Dr. Fauci would say things, and then he'll say that he would say he did not say that, and they would play the tape, and then he'll say something different. So then I get it, I understand, because a lot of people did pass away, people that we know. I was very, very ill. Actually, y'all were the two first people that I knew that got sick, and it wasn't even named COVID. So we understand that. But I think any president, in my opinion, he did the best that he could, because this is probably almost worse than the Great Depression.
Right.
The COVID, it was crazy. They shut down everything. But I think I want to kind of move forward, because we kind of talked about the racism part of it.
Okay.
And I like to throw out facts, because a lot of people don't talk about facts. Well, Donald Trump is racist. And I was like, well, I don't know the man, so I can't say that. But I can say the things that he have done for black people. A lot of people don't talk about, and he doesn't even talk about it, the First Step program that he put in play. He got prison reform put together. Who gets the credit for it now is none other than Kim Kardashian. But Donald Trump, the brother of Vance that's on CNN, he came to Donald Trump, begged him, can you get this bill passed. He went to a couple of his constituents and they got it passed. That what he ended up doing was kind of overturning the 1994 crime bill. This is a fact. If you don't believe me, go look it up. He released 30,000 people, nonviolent offenders. On the books, according to DOJ, 92% were black men. You can say what you want. 92% were black men. That is a fact. Now, I'm only lying if the DOJ lied to me. So when I hear these things, I just say, well, that's part of the machine. And so this is where I'm going. The political media machine, that this is why I believe personally his win yesterday is probably one of the greatest wins in history, because what he had to go up against, this is only the second time in the last 100 years that a person lost the election, was voted out, and came back. The first person was Grover Cleveland. And so now when you start to think about that picture, you say, wait a minute, he went against the great machine. You said this earlier, and you mentioned this about how the media was not saying certain things about VP Harris.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I look at that, I tell people, did any of y'all see the 60 Minutes interview with her, with the older gentleman that came out 3 weeks ago? You know why you didn't see it?
Because she did so terrible.
She did bad. And so that's part of that machine. And so the people of America saw through all of that, because I'm thinking, how come they won't show certain things? And I just kept saying, I mean, to be honest, personally, I don't dislike her in the case of who she was, but I did research on her and I understood who she was.
And it's supposed to be fair reporting with the media.
No,
they
sir.
They supposed to
That's never
report
gonna
both sides. We know that. We've actually witnessed it.
Yeah, literally.
So hey, Colette, hey, how you doing?
Colette.
Well, Colette, you gotta have a question or something.
Miss Artist, how you doing?
You gotta have a question for the panel.
She runs the culinary department. Everything that goes on, people eat at King High School. She a sweetie pie.
Oh, so she getting busy. So you got people in the building already, huh?
Well, I think the one thing that we can, again, Rav, we got to touch on it. You know, we said this is going to be a segment at some point. You know, at some point now, let's unite. We can't continue to be divided.
Yeah.
No, but see, I'll say this. I don't even think it's going to ever be united in the sense of that word. But doing certain things, I think that's going to be one of the major challenges, because let's be honest. What you said about rural white America that I heard today, and people say it's not a lot of people that live up there. Those people came out and showed up for
Make America Great Again.
Donald J. Trump. So let's keep it moving. I'm gonna ask this question. G to D, who doesn't make a difference. What do you think will Donald Trump do once he gets in office? How do you think he'll respond in the fashion of just anything that you think he might do?
His first tour of duty. What is he going? I'm saying his first job, the first thing that he's probably going to do. I think his head is probably first the border.
Okay.
I think the first thing he's going to do, because the one thing you can say about the guy is he is all about some sort of structure and the safety of this country.
Yeah.
One thing that I do know, the one thing that we're probably going to benefit from is with him being in that seat, he is going to garner a certain type of respect because they kind of know he's willing to fight. Right. And I think the whole border situation, he's going to do something to try to rectify that. And whatever has been going on, he is going to try to rectify that. I do believe I think that's one of the first things that he's got his eyes on. He's going to attack that first.
Okay. G.D.
I will say the same. He's going to do the border, and I think he's going to, and I hate to say this, he's going to go after a few people.
Hey, D, you must looking at my cheat set.
He's going to go after a few people, man, because when you really, really think about it, some of the stuff that they did was so egregious.
Mm-hmm.
That lawsuit, the 500 million,
for sure.
making him have to do all that when the bank. How you bring a charge to a president, an ex-president,
Or just any man,
or any man,
based upon, go ahead,
that the two institutions involved say we got our money back, we have no issue with it.
We'll do business with him again.
We'll do business with him again. And furthermore, you're exposing our other clients who do the same thing.
That's the thing.
You didn't prosecute them.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't prosecute your friends that do it. That's selective prosecution.
Indeed.
So,
They should have been brought up for election tampering. And they basically begged the court not to, like, this is man.
So to your point, D, I hope that he doesn't, but he will be right to do it if he wanted to do it, because they did weaponize the DOJ. It's not even up for debate. When you see, if you haven't read the transcripts or looked at the actual trial about the fraud, then you can't talk about it. But once you read it, then you'll understand why we're saying that it was absolutely, they used the DOJ as a weapon. But personally, I hope that he doesn't, because I think, and this is a whole nother thing, a lot of people, because I heard people put hats on social media, something about the Antichrist will have a name across the forehead. Well, I look at it differently.
How you look at it?
I look at it differently because, first of all, they tried to assassinate the man. And for him to get through that and to get through this media onslaught, this persecution of him. Now, some of the things, rightfully so, he may have gotten, but some of this stuff, when you think about it, like I said, when you read transcripts and look at everything, how everything was put into play, that was the number one downfall of the Democratic Party, attacking him instead of saying what I'm going to do.
Well, I think we lost to McKenzie in the winter of 1988 at Cooley High School. It was a Friday afternoon. And you remember Coach telling him, man, now you guys said you want to run now. And what happened is, it wasn't that wasn't our game. It allowed them to be the only way they could really play us. So I think when you look at it, the Dems really allowed him to speed him up. He put the press on them because of his antics and things. And so now you talking about my mama, so now I'm gonna say something stupid. Now you've gotten out of character. And I don't know if it's out of character, but now they've allowed him, and now you're starting to finger point and do some things. And now you're looking bad. And now you're not staying focused. You're not preparing yourselves when you go for your speeches, for these debates. And now you are starting to attack him instead of just staying on course and saying, look, this is what we're going to do. And you take the high road and just stay focused on what you got to do. I think they got so caught up, the media, but more importantly, I think the Dems got so caught up and trying to attack him because he said something that was just ridiculous about him, and she ain't black, and Obama wasn't born, all of that. And now here you go, and you're going to do the same thing. And now the people are looking at you like, no, what? I asked you what you were going to do. And they never really, really responded. And they never answered some of the difficult questions that was presented to them. And that's why today that they're in the place they're in now.
So what you're basically saying, G, is if you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
Ain't no question about it.
You get stupid prizes.
No question
and so you get into something that you are not capable of.
Because here's what's strategic.
Yeah, for sure.
See, the rhetoric and the foolishness and acting like he doing something with the microphone, all of that, saying that Cheney's daughter should sit in front of, I'm thinking like, dog, this is the most ridiculous thing I've heard anybody. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get a middle school coaching job doing this.
Yeah.
But this is what he's been doing. And so you get caught up in that and you doing that too. And now you saying this. Well, no. We trying to see what you're going to really do, because my man has already let you know, this is what I'm going to do here. This is what I plan on doing. And I've held this seat before.
Right.
But what that is, G, is when you don't have a game plan.
That's what I'm talking about.
You just react. You just react and you don't have a game plan. So then,
with your mouth.
So then that's where that indictment
do it.
comes in. So here's another thing that I want to ask, because obviously he's coming into office and he's going to do what he's going to do. Do you think he will be able to end the Israel and Hamas war? D, I'm gonna go with
I
you.
think he definitely has a better chance than she does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think he got a
If anybody was going to be able to
way
do it, it's
better
going to be him.
chance than him.
That's the one thing I can tell you.
Yeah, he's dealt with the situation before, and he had no wars, no conflicts during his administration.
Oh, that's for a fact. Those are facts.
Yep.
No, as the kids say, no cap. So
No cap.
here's one of the things, and nobody paid attention to this because you didn't pay attention to it because they didn't publicize it. Going back March, Netanyahu came to the States. I think it was March, somewhere like that. And he came to the White House. Joe Biden and the cabinet sat down with Netanyahu.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala Harris did not. Maybe 2 weeks ago, Israel killed all three of the top Hamas leaders, all three, in the same killing.
Right.
Boom, 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 boom. So 2 days ago or 3 days ago now, they asked Netanyahu, will he end the war? Will he stop bombing in Gaza because they got the top three people? He said, nope. He said, because I will not give, and it wasn't verbatim, I will not give the Biden-Harris administration the satisfaction to say that they
stopped on that.
They ceased the war. So then when you think about that, this is another thing why, for me personally.
That's personal. That was personal.
But exactly, because
Yeah.
they said her attitude is, it's a little funky. But anyway, but beyond that, they said that she was the person that decided she wasn't going to meet with him. Well, I think America is Israel's ally.
Yeah.
They give them money,
defense,
bombs, everything that they
the whole
need. And so to the point for me, I started thinking, this is the first sign of disrespect to America. So if she gets in office, you think these foreign people, entities are going to not deal with her in that capacity? I thought it would be a terrible thing if she was in the spot at this here time, because we are on the verge of World War III, in my opinion. But now
that's fact.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things that I think about with that. But also, it was something I wanted to mention. I can't remember now. It's just probably too much. But if you want to call
those other countries, Rab, those other countries were not going to really give us the respect that they're traditionally giving us anyway.
Yeah, with her.
Yeah, they would not have given.
Oh yeah, for
not
sure.
have given her the respect that they would have given anyone else, and that they had given us previously. So, obviously, I always say there's pros and cons to everything in life.
Oh, for sure.
So there's some things that would have occurred had she become president that would have left us scratching our head. So again, we can't say it's all going to be bad. So everybody root for her.
We probably should say a disclaimer, because we don't want nobody saying we being chauvinist by saying that.
Saying what?
That's not.
We don't think that the
woman,
international community.
Oh no, but what's so
that's fact though.
I know it's fact, but
yeah. Oh yeah, some people gonna say,
listen,
man.
Said,
I hear, hey, listen.
I
heard it. I heard it last night. Again, this is not. It's not chauvinism. Think about it. All three of our mothers, y'all both have y'all still here.
Right.
Were the cornerstones of our lives and are still. Like, there's no way I could ever. There's no way that we think like that. But will we speak with reality? Damn, we always have.
Yeah.
So we're not going to sit here and let this issue come up, as great an issue as it is, as large an election as this is, and we don't just state facts and state what's really going on. So no, this ain't about chauvinism or any of that. But you gotta understand the countries around this world, they weren't going to respect it like that.
That's for a fact. Anthony Jackson, your man G, will Trump align the U.S. with Russia and North Korea? If so, how do you all feel about that? Will this affect the
That's
relationship?
important, man, because BRICS is a real thing.
Oh, for sure.
That BRICS situation is a real thing. And if they deflate that dollar, it ain't gonna matter who in the presidency. This mug going up.
No,
Well,
no, no.
to be
Hyperinflation.
Yeah,
Man,
it'll be
they
crazy.
deflate that dollar. If that go through,
well, see, one thing about the U.S., they not. I hate to say it, but if you try to mess with that cash, they're gonna drop them joints on you.
yeah,
They're gonna drop them
they
bombs.
coming back.
So, and brother, and I'm not really sure.
That's a great
I
question.
hope
too.
not. I really don't have the answer for that.
I don't think he's going to align with them. And
Yeah.
what I think is, hey man, y'all be cool. Y'all do what y'all do. We straight though. We straight. You ain't my man like that, but we gonna be straight. So I don't think he's trying to align with them because again, there's a lot to come with that. Because again, like you said, how would it affect our relationship with our current allies? I just don't think he's coming in like that.
Yeah, not at all.
Now I think that's drastic.
Yeah. So, and I want to talk about this. So, talking about the border, and I know I'm going back and forth because I'm
That's
thinking
right.
of stuff as
That's
I'm
right.
going.
Go ahead, bro.
And they talked about the border bill. Here's another situation that I just didn't sit well with me. I remember when VP Harris and Trump were doing the debate, and she said that he blocked the border bill. I was thinking in my head, he's not even in office.
Right.
If he has this much juice and he's not in office,
Damn.
why are you in office?
Damn.
And then when you have either one of you ever looked at where the money was going to be spent on that border bill?
Ukraine.
Oh, listen to me. G, I'm going to give you some actual number. D, I'm going to break it down because you're right. Majority was going to Ukraine. It was $118 billion. $60 billion was going to Ukraine. Another 11 billion was going to Israel.
Come on, cuz.
Hold on. Another 10 billion was going to humanitarian aid in Gaza, Israel, and Ukraine. These are, and then it was only $20 billion going for border security. First of all, I would have blocked that bill, and anybody who wouldn't block the bill, they're a little off.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
according to the historians and the people behind it, it was a lame duck bill. They said it would have never got through anyway.
Anyway.
But for her to fix her mouth to say that, I just thought I don't like that.
She
But
didn't know what to say at that time.
It was 6 Democrats that stopped the bill.
there you go.
It was 6 Democrats that voted no because of the Ukraine money.
because of the Ukraine money.
So I mean, like that, but that goes back to the media. Like, I got a thing about the media because when they not fair and reporting, they're propaganda. It's a propaganda campaign.
Oh, no question. No question about it.
Y'all pushing the issue. Y'all getting something out of this.
Mm.
They ain't doing it for free.
No.
Yeah,
Somewhere you making some money.
So I want to.
Colette said this though.
What?
Sister Artist said my concern is him cutting Head Start and free lunches for the babies.
Well, go ahead, G. You
The
address
Dems
that.
just did that in Chicago with the immigrants. That's who getting all the school money. The damn immigrants.
Yeah, and that's what's really going on. I think we're too deep into it, Miss Artist. I don't think he's gonna. I just can't see him cutting Head Start. Now, is there going to be some of the funding? Because we do know this: the Dems are traditionally more generous when it comes to social programs and things like that. Head Start, definitely. I don't think he's going to cut Head Start where it's going to be wiped out. Is there going to be some type of reduction? Possibly. Free lunches. I think we've been getting free lunches too long because I think now all the young people are getting free lunches at the schools, at least in Detroit. Public schools, they're getting free lunches. So I don't think he's going to cut that out. We're going to cross our fingers and hope that these young people are still getting taken care of, though.
All right.
I don't think he's gonna cut it out because he's gonna close that border and all that money ain't gonna go to them immigrants.
Yeah.
So he ain't gonna have to cut it out. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money being given
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
That's a
Some
lot
people
of
that's not
money
even
being
from
given.
here. We got homeless veterans.
Well, actually, this is just my opinion. I do my research. That's the reason why they coming at the mayor of New York, Adams. Because if y'all go back and y'all just do the trail, he started to speak out against the immigrants and saying this is not a sustainable thing. And the next thing you know, boom, he get hit.
They coming at him.
indictment. They coming at. It's just interesting because so it started to give credence to
Right.
me about did they weaponize the DOJ,
They definitely
and it's
did.
very, very concerning and more. What about that? So also, let me ask you this. Now we not even 24 hours from the announcement.
That's right.
Boy, oh boy, you had so many people that are at each other's throat. And if you voted for Trump, you are a bona fide idiot.
You're a devil.
And you
Sellout.
You a sellout for sure. You a coon, you a house Negro, and you everything under the sun. Well, here's my point to this whole thing about relationships and how things they get people to think certain things. Gee, you heard me say this before. Right now, today, people did not go to work because their candidate didn't win. And some other people are very, very excited. They jubilee and they jumping up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But when you say, if you was a former Democrat and you voted Republican, doesn't make you a Republican. You just decided to vote for them and their policies.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people are not understanding is that this particular election and most elections is nothing but a simple divide and conquer.
Absolutely.
And it teaches gang mentality.
Red and blue.
Red and blue.
Mhm.
And so when you see it, you say, wait, now how come I can't decide I want to vote for Mr. Trump? Because
This time
because I'm a conservative.
Mhm.
And somebody will say that, oh shoot, somebody will say that you are, hold on one second. And so one thing about it is that you look at the big picture and you say, man, this is crazy to me. And it teaches gang mentality.
Definitely.
Think about it, the red and blue, this is crazy. So I just wanted to say that. So now, with all that being said, because of the Democrats falter,
Mhm.
now the Republicans have taken the Senate.
Mhm.
They got majority control of the Senate. This is going to be really, really tough for the Democrats.
Well, not only is it going to be tough, I don't know when you're going to be able to chop into this lead.
Mm-hmm. You're not.
I don't know in the foreseeable future how they're going to be able to chop into this lead and even get back in the game. You know, I think you have to look back at it. And, you know, I always say there's a point in time during the course of the game when you were winning where you should have sealed the deal. And when you don't,
Yeah, you don't. It's all bad.
it's all bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's all bad. So now we look at it and you've given up the lead. And now they got a stranglehold on this thing. How can you regain control? And I think right now they're scrambling. As a matter of fact, I think they've been scrambling for the last couple of years. They just wanted to make it look like they weren't scrambling and they were in control of what they were doing. But I think this entire election really just shows the lack of foresight and the lack of control that they really had. And it's going to take somebody dynamic. The Dems are going to have to go out on a limb to regain some of that control and to regain some of the people that they lost, because there are a lot of people standing on the fence right now and saying, you know what, I can go either way right now. And I think that's the biggest problem that they're facing right now.
That's very interesting. Go ahead, G.
Y'all think they're going to try to win the voters back that they lost, or they just going to continue with well, now they ain't going to have no choice. Well, because Trump about to close the border, probably stop all this he, she, him, or whatever.
Yeah, he's going to do that.
Yeah,
He's gonna stop all that.
Yeah.
And then
now, when you say stop all that, what do you mean, D? When you talking about the restroom usage, I mean,
I'm saying everything.
man, somebody just said that there was a urinal
I
at
hope
the
he
basketball
shut
game
down
in the ladies' restroom.
all of that. Now, the pronoun stuff and the he's not even gonna think about giving an inmate a surgery.
Why would we though?
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
one of the things that lost me.
Yeah.
And the one of the biggest things I think he gonna, like you said about the Israel, I think he's gonna get on top of that.
I think so.
Because
oh, no question.
That's something that he can say. Yeah, he's a
no question.
He's that type of guy that I stopped that over there. That was me.
No doubt, D.
He's gonna definitely do that.
So,
no doubt.
Brother Russell Johnson said he wants to close the Department of Education. That's where the money comes from. So, what's your thoughts on that?
That Trump wants to close the Department of Education?
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard that.
No, I've heard it for sure.
I've heard it.
You've heard him say that?
Yeah, I've heard him say it for sure. And so here's what I think about this. When we think about the Department of Education, the Department of Education came into play about 1980, if I'm correct.
What have they done?
Well, this is where I'm going, G.
What have they done?
The Department of Education is nothing but this government getting bigger and bigger. And the Department of Education, all they do is make rules and regulations, but they don't enforce them to the states.
Yeah.
So my question becomes, why do I have George in charge of multiple schools and he cannot, and he does not have the power to do anything? So that money, Brother Russell, that you're talking about, I think that money could be reallocated down to the states. But what we need to do is have, if you will, some type of a czar. No, we have somebody over the Department of Ed here in all the states. But when you think about what the Department of Education has done over this time, they really haven't done anything because our public schools are to pot and they allow programming for us, in particular, Black history, be taken out. So the Department of Education, in my opinion, is not that valuable. That's just another department where people are getting paid
to do. And Department of Education, somebody talked about this a few weeks back to me. And the one thing I can say about that is, they're not truly educating our children on their history anyway.
So that's the point. That's what I just said.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So I just think
that should be state regulation.
It's a glorified thing within the government that sounds good.
No, that's a way of somebody getting paid,
getting some more money
from the federal government. That's all I believe that is. And
kind of like the FAA, Homeland Security, National Security. We got all these things.
Yeah.
What do you do?
And where did it come from?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The Transport Authority. Like, come on, man.
So we got another question.
I like that. George Anthony Walker said, "It's Project 25. Is it the real deal or what, man? What's going on, Dooley?"
Ah, man.
I just this is my take on
ahead,
Project 25.
GD.
Trump has owned everything that he's said and done and everything. Him saying that he's not a part of Project 25, he knows what it is. I believe him. Because I think if he was Project 25, he would say it. He would come out and be like,
yeah, I don't think he a punk behind it.
I don't think, at
No,
all.
he ain't,
In no way, shape, and form.
You know,
Yeah, I don't
Do I
think
think that. So
I got
the Heritage Foundation, people forget. Obama
Yep.
used the Heritage Foundation. That's where Obamacare comes from. He also used it for something else. And I'm not saying what I'm saying is we still got the right to fight. And this goes back to us governing ourselves. We wouldn't have put no crack law on ourselves. We wouldn't have put no Project 2025 on ourselves.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of things that they did that we wouldn't have did to ourselves if we was governing ourselves.
Yep.
But y'all don't want to talk about that.
Mhm.
Don't nobody want to talk about us governing ourselves, where we at.
No,
They
because
don't want to talk
now
about
that's
that.
because
Too much
we've been conditioned to be
Programmed.
governed by the government.
Yeah.
So Project 2025, I got a question for even the viewers out there, because some people have said it's like a roadmap to where they want to go. and what they want to do. I got a question. What if the 1964 Civil Rights Act was the modern, the version of Project 2025 for the Democrats?
Back then.
Back then. What if it
Think about
was?
that. Yeah.
What if it, I'm just asking the question because it could have been a roadmap because who put it in play was Lyndon Baines Johnson. And when you go listen to the lost tapes, Lyndon Baines Johnson said, I will have these Negroes voting Democrat for the next 200 years. What if that was a play, the modern day version, Project 2025? What if the Civil Rights Bill was that for the Democrats?
Which
can't say it wasn't.
Look at it, right? You can't say it wasn't.
I'm just asking, dude.
You can't say that it wasn't, because it's crazy how this goes. After that, we were like, we Democrats.
Yeah.
We made it.
We Democrats. We made it. And this is what we're sticking with.
And so then we were
60 years ago.
We were
that's when the auto boom came.
But think about this is part of the whole concept.
Right, yeah.
So then could it be? I just want some people what's your thoughts on that? Okay, she said, okay, hold on. Stephanie here said, what's the thoughts on him cutting Social Security and the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare?
But that's everybody been talking about that because they saying Social Security is not with the deficit. It's not something got to give. But here's the thing about that: we're giving all this money away to all these foreign entities, and y'all talking about Social Security.
So
what we talking about here?
That is
crazy.
Such a valid point. We could have a whole bunch of money in Social Security if we stop taking care of these other countries. This is, and so when we think about it, this is why I say government, in my opinion, has gotten way too big. And so they just get people to pass laws. They get the Congress to pass laws, and they say, we're going to give 60 million to Ukraine.
That is
60 billion. I'm sorry, 60 billion to Ukraine. And I'm thinking, I was out in LA just this past February. I saw so many homeless people, brother.
Like, how you doing?
What are we doing here? Yeah. I'm just asking questions.
Then you bring in 1 million immigrants and house them.
Hold on, no. First of all,
feed them.
No, you don't just house.
Hold on now. See, your numbers is absolutely generous. Some of the experts say it's between 10 and 15 million
people
that they came in
the last 3-4 years.
And my thing to that is simply, are they all criminals? Probably not. But the point of it is not if they're criminal. The point of it is who is going to pay that down the line, and it's going to be our children, the American taxpayers. Now it's going to be our children when we're gone 40 years from now, and they're going to be sitting somewhere talking about what happened.
Yeah, how they let this happen.
Man, it's crazy. Hold on. We got another question. Hold on. So have you read Project 25? If not, please do, and then discuss. I have read it. All right. I read not the whole because it's too much, but some of the things that he wants to do. So one of the things that I know, Brother Russell, that they talked about, they're saying that he's going to make sure he's going to control the Supreme Court, right? Doing some things, putting some people on there. But I haven't read it, so it'd be absolutely wrong for me to really comment fully, and I haven't read it. But ask a question and what you want to know about that, and maybe we can try to answer that question for you.
But to that, I say that's why we got lawyers, and that's why, unless they're gonna do away with the judicial system completely, because that's the only way we can fight them. We can't take arms and fight them. So if it's something with the Supreme Court, we're gonna have to fight them. There's case law. There's things that you're gonna have to do. Once again, that goes back to us governing ourselves.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
It goes back to us governing ourselves. We don't educate ourselves. We don't govern ourselves. We don't police ourselves.
Well, we feel,
we don't feed ourselves.
And I think that division now has not only transcended from they used to talk about light skin and dark skin, and now you got a generational divide.
Yeah.
Now you have a class divide. You know, the have and the have nots, they're divided. Then you look at it, I think the greatest divide that we have, and if we don't get a hold to it, I don't care if it's Project 2025 or Project 2021. If we don't get a grip of the gender divide in our community, and it's the crazy thing now, it's happening in different cultures as well. But ours is growing at a rate that you can't believe.
Right.
And we see it every day. And it's almost as if people are willing to shun their roles, their traditional role, to say, look here, this is what I'm on right now. And it's destroying the family, which in turn destroys the community. And we better watch it.
Wow. Wow. Man, but right now, we're going to wrap this up, and we really appreciate the people tuning in. Of course, we have a lot of people. Man, you got to give somebody a hug if it's your lady and she made you vote for VP Harris. Well, you ain't got to give her a hug. She going to slap you in your head when she get ready. But anybody that you know who's down because it didn't work out, everything going to be okay. But I want to see it, man. I got to see if I can key this up. Did y'all hear the older lady talk about Kamala for not coming out last night? Oh man, this is.
Oh yeah.
I gotta see if I can key this up. If I could key this up, this is crazy.
Yeah, I heard some people mention that she didn't do a concession
last night.
She didn't come out and say nothing.
So go ahead, D.
Which pretty much speaks for itself. I mean, I'm not saying that she's an athlete like us, because in defeat, you feel some type of way, but you don't never disrespect your opponent or the people that supported you by not.
More importantly, your people.
Lost. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw Tamara Hall said something along them lines, and tongue in cheek, kind of pointing at people laughing, but you're supposed to come out. And I don't know if you were saying, okay, they still count the votes, but even if that's the case, last night those people had gathered for you, and a lot of people had placed a lot behind you. Go address them. Go tell them thank you, regardless to what happened. So, again, it's a lesson learned. And who knows what happened. So I'm not making an indictment against her, but no, there are certain things that should have been done.
Let me see if I can cue this up really, really quick. Hold on. Because this is very interesting. I want to know some of the ladies' thoughts behind this. If I can cue it up really, really quick. And let me see. See if I can cue this up, share screen. And I don't know if I can. Should you have your Facebook on? Because I want even if you can hear it. I'm trying to figure out if I can show this. Keep skipping. Oh no, they can't hear it. I was trying to cue it up for the people to hear it, but you couldn't hear. You got to go check out. It's an older lady, and she was very, very disappointed because VP Harris didn't come out and to speak to the people at Howard. And she gave her a lesson, in my opinion. You guys heard it. And this is really unfortunate. But, at this point, that's over. We got to move forward.
Definitely.
Hey, Trump is the president for everybody right now. And it is some tight faces around this city.
Yes, it is.
It's funny because if it was in the reverse, I still had to get up and do what I had to do. You know what I mean, G? Did you have to go to work?
Man, it's an elephant heavy.
Okay.
Matter of fact,
I mean,
I definitely had to get up, man. Yeah.
So, man, I just, just thinking about that. So make sure, do not be that person who teases somebody, makes them feel bad, because people are absolutely angry behind this.
It definitely is polarized.
And what, when you think about, I can understand why. Do you guys know she raised over $1 billion?
She gonna be straight.
Yeah, and of course she got the team, but the question is, how you blow the campaign and you got a Billy ticket in
it wasn't the money that had nothing to do with nothing. She could have, obviously that ain't nothing. She didn't blow anything with that. The money wasn't nothing.
What do you mean it wasn't
that
nothing?
money? Her getting that money, what was the money going to do? It wasn't going to change the way she operated, her means of thinking.
Well, but see, obviously this is why you have a team around you. But I think what they did, that taking for grant thing, but I think they put money in the wrong places as well.
Spent a lot of it because they was here in Detroit.
Oh,
and I had an interesting 20-some minute conversation with Delroy Lindo at TV Lounge on one of them occasions.
Oh, she was coming back and forth. Her people were here. I mean, so she spent. I just don't think, again, mentally and strategically, the Dems did a good job whatsoever.
Yeah,
drop the ball, brother.
Yo.
Drop the ball.
Well, we appreciate y'all on a Wednesday night.
And Jackson, appreciate the love, man. He said, great show, man. We appreciate it, bro.
Appreciate it. State Champions Podcast. Make sure y'all subscribe, like on YouTube, IG, and TikTok.
Yeah.
Hey, man, tell a friend, call a friend, be like, man, they got a great podcast going on in the D, and we got to keep it going, and we need the support of the people. Y'all don't see we got the new canisters and stuff.
Yeah, y'all see
with
it.
the logos and stuff,
Hey, Russ Johnson, hit the like button, man. Subscribe, man.
Yeah,
we're trying to entertain
got
the
all
people.
type of good swag.
Yeah, we got the shot glasses and everything, man.
Speaking of them shot glasses, we can't put nothing in them.
Oh, we got one, man. Y'all could have been put it in
right
there, man. We thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Peace, and we out of here.
The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here.